Following Donald Trump's first 108 days in office, the best way to describe it would be malicious incompetence, in that he is trying to do multiple things that I would heavily disagree with. He is trying to undermine the Constitution, he is trying to ignore the Supreme Court, he is trying to enact executive orders instead of going through Congress and passing bills, and ultimately, he has been fairly unsuccessful in doing all of these things. For example, Donald Trump has signed 143 executive orders in his first 100 days in office. That is more than any other president in American history. Yet, even though he has a larger majority in Congress, specifically the Senate, than Joe Biden ever did, he's only managed to sign 4 bills into law since Congress took session in January of this year. A significant number of these executive orders have been signed with no regard to the Constitution, nor to what the actual powers of the presidency really are. And what we've seen is that this is largely done to manufacture consent. These are done in hopes that people will simply agree to them and agree to those demands, which would expand the powers of the presidency. However, what we've also seen is that fighting these in court has been effective. When it comes to standing up to the presidency, it is important to do so regarding those executive orders and to make sure that the rule of law is continually followed. And it has worked in the past, and people need to keep doing that and keep applying pressure to the administration. On the topic of the economy, once again, Trump was handed an economy that was fairly functional and a United States cachet that was world renowned. And he's done very little with it because he has a very simplistic form of negotiation, which is similar to how he approaches women who don't want to sleep with him, in that he basically tries to cajole them, bully them, pressure them, and persuade them, and if they say no, he doesn't really have any other form of circumvention. And for this matter, he has falsely claimed that he has made 200 trade deals since taking office, when in reality the number is far closer to 0. When I say incompetence, what I mean is that there is a great deal of power being handed to the president and he doesn't know how to use it. He doesn't know how to use it effectively. The only thing that he really knows how to do is to disorient his opposition by flooding them with too much information for them to handle, and then when it comes to trying to take action, there is a great deal of self-sabotage and reneging that has ultimately just not yielded very productive results. Because of all of this, what we're seeing is that other nations are generally not really wanting to trade with the United States. The United States has lost a great deal of credibility as well as trust around the world, but we're also seeing that they are finding the president to be quite predictable, and that they are finding it easier and easier to learn how to operate around him or simply appeal to his interests in order to manipulate him in the direction that serves other nations more than it would otherwise. This is essentially just not a very effective administration. Despite the fact that they have a majority in Congress, despite the fact that they have the Supreme Court on their side, they have accomplished very little of substance. These executive orders, as scary as some of them are, can be overturned very easily, and they often have been in court. It's also just incompetent as a whole. These officials in charge don't know how to do their jobs. For that reason, you are seeing people like foreign leaders as well as CEOs very quickly figure out how to operate and maneuver around the president and the executive branch. It's been said before that what we're seeing is a form of narcissistic abuse being enacted on a wide scale, which is very true. Bear in mind that we are also dealing with someone who is a convicted sexual abuser. This is someone who does not understand consent. This is someone who does not understand empathy and lacks perspective and is emotionally stunted. For that reason, their ability to negotiate, their ability to manage things in a complex manner is severely underdeveloped, and for that reason, their best ability is simply to draw attention to themselves at the risk or expense of actually getting things done.